Ladies and gentlemen, we will now resume the forum. Welcome back to the International Forum for Trilateral Cooperation. The second session, International Economic Policy at a Crossroads, an opportunity for trilateral cooperation, will be moderated by Dr. CHOI Byung-il from Ewha Women's University, former Dean of the Graduate School of International Studies. Again, we ask you to please use the question sheets in the program booklet for inquiries to the moderator and the session speakers. Our staff will be available nearby to collect the completed sheets. Now, please welcome the moderator and the speakers.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Session 2. This session is about trade and economics. Session title is International Economic Policy at Crossroads. So we'll discuss opportunity for trilateral cooperations. Usually the first session right after lunch, we fight with so-called after lunch syndrome. But I realized we had another competitors out there, they had wonderful music. So we are kind of starting late. And my intention is we'd like to finish by 3:15, our assigned time, 75 minutes. And we have 4 very distinguished, well-renowned panelists representing from 3 countries, which is members of TCS, and also my friends from Australia, Professor Shiro Armstrong. So order will be as follows. I will give each panelist 10 minutes for the initial remarks. And after the first rounds of their talk, and I'll pose questions to each panelist, and then I'll move on to floor and to pick up question from your question, and I will ask them. Well, I don't think I need to go long about the motivation for these sessions, but I will say very briefly, because these 3 countries, Korea, Japan, China, they represent G7 members of international trade. China is #1 trading nations, Japan is #3, Korea is #7 trading nations. And their main power trading is mainly coming from their manufacturing power. But now we are on the eve of 4th industrial revolutions, which means digital revolution, service sectors. So because of huge manufacturing base, 3 countries was able to accumulate their wealth and moving forward in terms of global trading status. But they have utmost challenge, so technical challenge. And another challenge is kind of trade headwinds. Because of election of Donald Trump and Brexit, and we are witnessing ever-increasing tide of protectionism. And that is providing huge challenge for China and also Factory China model. And China is indicated it has every intention to protect the value of free trade, and we need to realize whether or not there is up to actions. So with that in mind, I'd like to give my very first floor to Professor Park Taeho, who was former trade minister from Korea. Professor Park, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to, I'm given about 10 minutes. And as you can see from my slide, I was asked by the conference organizer to introduce Korea's trade policy, focusing on FTA policy, and then trilateral cooperation. I will move quite briefly on this subject in my turn. Okay, the half of them may be Korea's trade policy, and then rest of the presentation will be on world trading environment and possible trilateral cooperation, some suggestions. Okay, if we talk about Korea's trade policy, we should start with the 1967 when Korea joined the GATT. So in fact, Professor Choi and I attended one seminar held a couple of weeks ago to recognize the 50th anniversary of Korea's joining the GATT system. But later you will see, unfortunately, the multilateral trading system is not working very properly. But in any case, after we joined the GATT, until early 1990s, to be more specific, until 1993, Korea almost relied on multilateral trading system of the GATT for any kind of trade activities. But in 1993, as you remember, we heard the news that Canada, United States, Mexico form a North American Free Trade Agreement. We are very much surprised, and we are becoming very much concerned, because at that time, our major export markets are United States, and we are heavily competing with Mexico in the US markets. So we realize that now Mexican products will go to US market without tariff, but we have to import, you have to pay a tariff to get into the US market. So that's why we are concerned about our trade policy. And then without any systematic kind of plan, we happen to choose Chile as our first FTA partner. But in any case, coming into 2003, at that time, the government, the government is more like a progressive government, which are not really focusing on international trade. But anyway, President want to make a more systematic plan for pursuing multiple FTAs by setting up some kind of criteria. That's what we did in 2003. And the priority was given mostly to large advanced countries like the United States and EU, and also large emerging nations like China. But in any case, we group the target countries, short-term group, mid-term group, and long-term group. As you can see, in short-term group, Japan, Singapore, ASEAN, Mexico, and EFTA in Europe. Those are the first group we want to start our FTA negotiation with. And mid-term and longer term is US and EU, and lastly, China and Korea, China, Japan, Trilateral FTA. That's our plan, but maybe order has been a little bit changed, but we pretty much pursue all the FTAs which was planned in this roadmap. Okay, right now we have 15 FTAs in effect. I don't want to count them all, but it includes United States, EU, India, and ASEAN, and Australia, and many other countries. But as you can see, Korea-Japan FTA negotiations, unfortunately, after 1 year of negotiations, it was suspended in 2004. And for Mexico, we tried many times. We requested to have FTA negotiations, but Mexico kind of refused to agree on these FTA negotiations. So at the moment, we have 15 FTAs, and we are negotiating with Indonesia. And of course, we are also participating in CJK FTA negotiations and RCEP. And Korea was considering joining the TPP if TPP is implemented as an additional member in the future. But at the moment, you know that the implementation of TPP is not possible because of the U.S. position. Okay, these are the pictures of the current FTA network of Korea. The green areas are our partners. And what kind of benefits we have from these FTAs? Well, first of all, you have to ask what are the main motivation of pursuing that many FTAs. I think, as you know, Korean economy, domestic economy, is less than 2% of the world GDP. To be more specific, maybe 1.8% of the GDP. So we are a small country. To make advanced, kind of economic development for advanced countries, we have to continue to have a relationship with our foreign partners. That's why we try to have that many FTAs. Right now, we have 15 FTAs. If you count the countries, it's like 52 countries. If you add all the GDPs of 52 countries, it adds up to more than 73.2%. This number is the third largest after Chile and Peru. So we have a pretty much connected kind of partners with Korea. And using these FTA networks, when I work for the government, we really emphasize that these FTA networks, not only for large companies, but also this is providing good opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises to become more global player using these FTAs. So government is also helping small and medium-sized enterprises to be part of the global value chain. That's one of the economic benefits we are expecting. And also, we hope that we have 15 FTAs. That means maybe foreign investors want to utilize this kind of Korea's FTA network by investing in Korea. So then we can actually expect some kind of new technologies coming along with foreign investment. That's the thing we want to also expect. And lastly, we also want to enhance the competition in the domestic market by introducing more imports and also more investors. That's the kind of benefits we are expecting from FTA. Now, look at the world trading environment. To put it very simple, world trading environment is pretty much uncertain, and especially the multilateral system will be weakened because of the Doha round stalemate. And regional trade integration was kind of considered as a second option or alternative to the multilateral trading system, because TPP was expected to play a very important catalytic role in stimulating multilateral trade negotiations and other regional trade negotiations. But unfortunately, it has been stopped. And at the same time, as you know well, President Trump announces various trade policy measures. Some of them are much more kind of protectionist kind of stance. And as Professor Choi mentioned, more and more general public sentiment about the free trade is increasingly negative. It is spreading all over the world. So we are even concerned about potential trade war coming. It's not actual war, but retaliation by one country to another that may be hurting East Asian economies most, especially CJK, because we are heavily depending upon international trade, especially using the US market and EU market. So we are really bit concerned. So what can we do by three nations? I think first of all, I should say that all of us should work together to fight against rising protectionism. I mentioned a few ideas, which is not that creative idea, but most like a textbook style kind of recommendation. The first, I think we should play some role, constructive role. Actually, China is one large, emerging player at the WTO, and Japan is a very matured, advanced country, and Korea as a middle power country. I think we can work together to save some roles. We can play some roles in saving the Doha round. And for the regional trade integrations, CJK, FTA, and RCEP should be completed as soon as possible. But at the same time, they should aim for high quality RTAs. In fact, if you look at the, I don't want to spend too much time, but if you look at the intra-regional integration, East Asia, I mean CJK plus ASEAN, we are the smallest in terms of intra-regional trade compared with the EU and North America. I think EU is most integrated. We are very much less integrated. So I think the CJK, RCEP should provide the markets for not only intermediate goods, but also for final goods. We have to provide the markets for final consumer goods among ourselves by establishing very aggressive CJK and RCEP negotiations. And we have to tell our leaders, our politicians, that they should emphasize more importance of trade. Trade can generate economic growth and even create some jobs, not too many jobs. And lastly, if I attend many different seminars, the key word about the free trade, they are talking about losers. Losers not necessarily coming from trade. Maybe they are coming from more technical development or globalization, but they are easy to blame trade for huge difficulties faced by young people. So I think government and politicians and political party should seriously consider redesigning the policy schemes to help losers so that they can move to other sectors, or they can get more education, they can get more training. Without that kind of efforts, I don't think a free trade will be stand anymore. I will stop here. Thank you very much. I'm sorry to spend more time.
Thank you very much, Professor Park. I don't go through a summary, but among what Professor Park mentioned, I'd like to point out a couple of points for the further discussions. He talked about Korea's reliance on trade and Korea's middle power. An important thing is among the CJK economies, intra-trade tend to be quite low when you compare with European Union and NAFTA. According to my recollections, European Union data is something close to 70% or 65%, and NAFTA is about 40%, and CJK is 20 to 25%. You know why? The main reason is NAFTA, US provide the biggest consumer market, and EU, they have several major sophisticated consumer market. But CJK is mainly about production. And so the future is whether or not China is turning into biggest consumer market in the world. If that happens, I think inter-trade dependency in this country, in this region, is going to be very, very important and stable. So that is going to be a further topic for discussion. And next panelist is from Tokyo, Mr. Ewha Kazumasa. He is president of Japan Center for Economic Research. So floor is yours, Mr. Ewha.
I prepared the outline, prepared in English, therefore I talk in English. Today, Vice President Pence visited Japan after visiting Korea and engaged in bilateral economic dialogue between Vice President Pence and our Deputy Prime Minister Aso. And on this dialogue consists of three parts. First one is macroeconomic issue, this including monetary and fiscal policy. Second is infrastructure, energy, cyber, space. And the third is the trade policy framework. So I make my statement regarding the macroeconomic policy and the trade policy framework. On the macroeconomic front, advanced economy faced secular stagnation problem after the global financial crisis. But in the case of Japan, we face this secular stagnation combined with deflation. We faced this problem already mid-1990s. And the monetary policy faced the zero lower bound on nominal interest rate, cutting the interest rate lower and touched to zero, already more than 20 years. So one of the indicators of this secular stagnation in Japan, I just showed the chart of natural interest rate. Natural interest rate implies neutral real interest rate, which will not accelerate inflation nor decelerate inflation. And the shaded area shows natural interest rate. You see this, our natural interest rate very close to zero, already mid the 1990s. In the euro area, according to some estimate, euro area a negative 0.4% natural interest rate. United States, very close to zero, although it's positive. This is common feature. The implication, policy implication for this negative interest, natural interest rate, monetary policy has difficulty, must lower the market real interest rate below this natural interest rate in order to overcome deflation. If there is a lower bound, that is 0%, then the inflation expectation must up. Actually, in the first phase of Abenomics, monetary policy adopted, that is quantitative and qualitative monetary easing. This policy adopted doubling the size of monetary base. By doubling the monetary base, it intended to increase the inflation expectation to 2%. If they succeed to raise the inflation expectation 2%, even though nominal rate is zero, real market rate would be negative 2%, therefore much below this natural interest rate. That was the intention of the first phase of Abenomics of monetary policy BOJ adopted. But after implementing, firstly, inflation rate reacted. However, it peaked once, 1.5%. This is the inflation rate. You see this after adoption of Abenomics, starting 2013, April. The inflation rate moved up significantly. But afterward was inflation rate down and coming down below zero again. And therefore, I think BOJ failed to increase the inflation expectation permanently, close to 2%. Inflation expectation now measured this inflation swap rate. Currently, our inflation rate, expected inflation rate, about 0.5%. And the BOJ, therefore, now changed the course and adopted the negative interest rate. Negative interest rate, 0.1% on short-term policy rate. And so, after seeing that the inflation rate is below negative, BOJ obliged changing the policy from quantity-based policy to interest rate-based policy. And however, this policy was not successful to raise the inflation rate enough. And then the third phase of monetary policy is the QQE, quantitative, qualitative monetary easing with yield control, yield curve control policy. That exactly, this is setting the target on long-term interest rate, 10-year bond, at 0%. Not only short-term policy rate fixed at negative 0.1%, but the long-term rate fixed at 0%. At the same time, in the third phase of Abenomics, the government embarked on the fiscal stimulus. Last fiscal year embarked on 6.5 trillion yen fiscal expansion. The combination of fiscal expansion and zero long-term interest rate implies this is a policy regime shift again. In my view, this is a shift to fiscal theory of price level. And recently, Professor Shims visited Japan, Nobel Prize laureate. He argued why BOJ failed to achieve 2% inflation target, because BOJ forgot about the fiscal policy. In order to overcome inflation, fiscal policy is more important than the monetary policy. And he argues inflation is fiscal phenomena, not the monetary phenomena. He argued in that way. And he recommends The consumption tax rate hike scheduled October 2019 again postponed until the time when the inflation target achieved. That implies fiscal policy should adopt inflation targeting policy instead of monetary policy. Fiscal policy is responsible for the achieving inflation target. So the implication is also postponement of fiscal target. Current government target is 2020 fiscal year, achieve the zero primary budget deficit, but it should be shifted again over the future. So this combination fiscal theory recommends fiscal expansion anyway. Also, monetary policy, a 0% long-term rate, this is also extremely expansionary. Therefore, current Japan's fiscal monetary policy is both expansionary. In contrast, Federal Reserve is moving toward tightening monetary policy. On fiscal policy, there are great uncertainty, quite unpredictable. What is the final outcome of Mr. Trump's fiscal policy? So monetary policy, already 2 times Federal Reserve raised interest rate. Over the future, they will raise again 2 times this year. In addition, there is a possibility the Federal Reserve will cut the balance sheet, that diminish the size of quantity as well within this year. That implies rather significant tightening of monetary policy. The difference of monetary policy stance between Japan and the United States creates upward pressure on dollar, downward pressure on yen. Therefore, my recommendation is both Japan and the United States government should not rely on the trade measures in order to correct for this exchange rate development. And they should respect the decision-making by central banks in charge of price stability target. This is the first recommendation. And the second one is, if Federal Reserve increasing interest rate, there may be a shock on the financial market and the foreign exchange market. That happened, the tapering shock, which happened 2013, May. Similar shock could arise. In that case, there need international cooperation among Asian economies, including China, Japan, and Korea. Strengthen the, for instance, the CHEN initiative. This is the pooling of Federal Reserve, $240 billion, and it strengthens the ASEAN way, the international cooperation. This is a very important point. Another point I want to take is the policy, trade policy framework. TPP is the top priority of Abenomics growth strategy. And therefore, but unfortunately, United States withdrew from this TPP. I find even though US withdrawal, Japan should stick to TPP, even though it is becoming TPP -1. I remember the case of GATT, when ITO proposal was made immediately after the war, International Trading Organization. But the US Congress rejected the idea of this ITO, and instead the other countries formed this GATT, and the GATT worked very well to maintain the free trade system. I find a similar thing happens with respect to TPP. Wait for the re-entrance of United States, TPP -1. This is second my recommendation. But another, a regional integration taking place aside from TPP. There is some estimation. If there is a case, United States want to have the bilateral Japan and the United States free trade area, I find we use this opportunity as a plan B. Plan 1 is sticking at TPP -1. But Plan B is just implement Japan-US FTA. And also, this is the calculations. When there is a Japan-US, this free trade area, then you may see this is some significant impact on Japanese economy. And also, if there is a TPP -1, Japan also benefit lower than the TPP 12, but still we can benefit. Of course, compared with the FTA AP, this is I find the final goal. It's including China and other countries, and the benefit is the largest. So that concludes my remark.
Thank you, Dr. Iwata. He explained domestic macroeconomic circumstances under which Abenomics was realized, and he went on what is going to be a contingency plan because the TPP among 12 countries are about to break down because Donald Trump, US president elected, he refused to move ahead in terms of US congressional ratifications. So according to him, Plan A is to go ahead without USA, so TPP minus US, and perhaps his hope is someday US will be back. And Plan B is instead of pursuing a mega FTA TPP, maybe bilateral element within TPP, that is US-Japan FTA. Well, perhaps one question I'm going to raise after all this first round is, in case of Plan B, just bilateral US-Japan FTA out of TPP will lead some extra work. So maybe that is a question I may pose after break. Now we move on to Chinese side. We have Madame CHEN Wenling. She is the Chief Economist of Chinese Center for International Economic Exchange. So, Madame Chen, floor is yours.
好，谢谢主持人。非常感谢主办方的邀请，也感谢中日韩秘书处卓有成效的工作。那么今天这上午的会议呢，听了很多的嘉宾的发言。刚才这个本论坛呢，前面的2位发言也非常精彩。那么我想呢，谈3个问题。第一呢，对国际形势，尤其是对美国特朗普他的这个一些基本看法。第二呢，谈一谈中日韩呢在新的时期啊，中日韩合作的重要性和必要性。第三呢，就谈一谈那个我的一些建议。那么大家呢，对于特朗普执政啊上台之后呢，大家的观点都是充满了不确定性。特朗普给世界啊带来了这个不可预期。那么我想换一个角度啊，就是说，在世界经济啊现在持续低迷，2008年以来到现在还没有真正走出底部。在这样的情况下，特朗普呢上台之后呢，实际上，在他的不确定性中呢，有6个方面是确定的，是我们能够看得清的。可能会对这个未来的世界经济啊，会产生比较大的影响。那么这6个方面的这个确定啊，我觉得就是说他一定要做的，一定会对世界经济会有影响的。我觉得是有6件事。第一件事呢，就是他的减税。那么他已经从竞选一直到他这个上台之后啊，反复提出来要大规模的减税，从35%减到15%。个人所得税呢，从7档减到3档，那么最低档12%，然后呢25%、33%。那么它这个大规模的减税呢，我想对于亚洲经济、对中日韩、对中国都会有很大的影响。那么它势必呢，形成虹吸效应，吸引这个投资啊、产业啊、财富啊向美国回流。那么现在呢，世界上税负最低的国家是英国，它的所得税17%。假如美国成了15%的话，那么它就意味着美国这个最大的经济体有着最低的税负。我觉得这一点呢，对我们会有很大的影响。第二点呢，就是大规模的基建。 他已经提出了一个未来10年要投资1万亿美元的基本建设规划。而美国的这个规划呢，我觉得很有意思他这个规划呢是规划到项目规划到业主，他已经在他的网上已经公布了。那么10万亿的这个基础设施建设投资那么势必也影响美国对全球的投资的吸收。我想美国的投资的政策呢还会发生比较大的调整。那么这对中日韩来说呢也面临着挑战，因为其实中日韩呢这个3个经济体刚才专家也说，就是我们是7个最大的贸易体之一就是这7个最大的贸易体都在亚洲。那么因为亚洲呢具有全球最多的人口，最大的制造业基地，也有最大的贸易国，因此世界的这个重心向亚洲转移，向亚太转移。亚太的重心呢在亚洲，亚洲的重心实际上是中日韩。那么假如美国的这个大规模的基础设施投资加上它的减税，那么会大大的削弱亚洲的优势，那么使全世界的经济重心向亚洲的进程有可能被打断。我觉得这一点呢我们要有清醒的认识。第3一点呢，我觉得它是要进行大规模的增债它现在提出的增加债务呢是1万亿美元。那么这也是一个很可怕的数字，因为根据美国财政部的这个统计呢，美国到目前为止它这个政府债呢已经达到22.8万亿。那么现在呢，它要再加1万亿的话，就是23.8万亿。那么这就势必导致美国会稀释债务。稀释债务的一个最好的方法是什么呢？是美元贬值。因此我预测未来呢，美元不是升值，而是贬值。因为特朗普多次说这个美元太过强势，而美联储呢，他发出的明确信号呢，是今年要有3次加息，但是美联储主席耶伦呢，是明年2月份到期任期到期，他的副主席呢，明年6月份任期到期。那么，所以总统和美联储主席之间的博弈呢，我觉得不在今年，而在明年以及更长的时间。所以美元呢可能会是弱势。所以在这种情况下呢，也会对全世界的金融、对亚洲金融、中日韩的金融产生非常大的影响。那么大家都知道美元虽然现在才加息了3次，从2015年12月、2016年12月，还有今年3月才3次但是呢，从2015年到2016年18个月间呢，这个我当然是说的这个到2016年底再往前的18个月之间人民币对美元贬值了11%，日元对美元贬值20%多，欧元对美元贬值了30%多。那么巴西的雷亚尔对美元贬值了60%，俄国的卢布对美元贬值了80%。因此大家可以看美元实际上是在一个贬值的通道上。这一轮的升息，我认为呢是短暂的而且呢升息的幅度比不上它贬值的幅度。因此我觉得特朗普呢将来大规模的增债呢，会对美元的走势产生很大的影响，这是可以预见的。而这种影响呢，对中国、日本、韩国这3个国家的货币、它的币值、市场的汇率都会产生很大的影响。第4呢，我觉得它就是非理性的贸易保护主义，也就是我们刚才很多专家也提到的所谓孤立主义、所谓逆全球化、所谓这个贸易保护主义。我觉得它这个贸易保护主义不会因为全世界的反对，也不会因为美国的反对，也不会因为盟国的反对而减缓或者是减弱，只能增强，不会减弱。那么它的主要的措施呢，我觉得这几点呢是非常明确的。那么第一呢，退出 TPP， 这个已经是行动了第2呢是这个要这个修改北美自由贸易区，那么给它的这个邻国这个 加拿大、墨西哥带来很大的这个压力。第三呢，是把一批跟它有贸易顺差的国家指定为贸易汇率操纵国，那么实行这种大规模的这个增税。第四呢，对于在这个全球产业链中这个对美国形成出口的这些国家加征边境税，比如说对德国、对墨西哥，然后这些产品呢输入到美国，它加征25%的边境税，那么这个税负是非常之高的。所以这些东西呢，都会对全球的供应链、产业链、服务链乃至最后的这个集中表现的价值链，这个调整呢，对发生很大影响。因为你想，美国它要雇美国人买美国货，要切断全球这个供应链，所以你想，它会对不仅是对墨西哥、对加拿大它周边的国家，还会对德国、日本、中国，对它有贸易顺差的国家产生非常大的压力。我觉得，那么第五呢，就是它现在呢，美国就是它的能源政策呢，在向传统能源回归。那么全世界呢，这个巴黎协定之后呢，传统能源这个使用呢受到抑制，但是美国呢，它原来曾经做出承诺要减排32%，那么它现在呢非常明晰的政策取向呢，就是回归传统制造业，回归传统的这个能源，那么包括它的煤炭这些传统能源、化石能源，它呢觉得我们没有必要对国际社会承担这个责任，因此它会使全球的能源格局发生很大的变化。那么全球的能源格局、能源的供给方那么能源的结构，那么现在呢是越来越多的新能源，包括生物质等等的。那么未来呢，由于美国的页岩气、美国的天然气，加上美国的传统化石能源，我想到2018年以后呢，美国会成为最大的能源输出国。有可能呢，这不是我说的，是因为国际能源组织做出的预测。所以我想呢，这一点呢，对全世界经济呢会有很大影响。那我们不要光看特朗普的这些不靠谱和不确定，但是我觉得他上述的这几个方面呢，是他确定的，而他确定的东西呢，恰恰是对我们影响最大的。所以中日韩呢，我觉得在新的这个国际形势下，我们更多的不要讲意识形态，更多的不要讲这种政治上的这种结盟。我觉得我们要看到我们经济上我们正面临着前所未有的挑战，而这种挑战呢，对于中日韩三国来说是一荣俱荣，一损俱损。所以在这种情况下，中日韩的最大利益是什么？最正确的选择是什么？是合作，是合作共赢。如果没有合作的话，我想呢，在这个全球新一轮的竞争中，3个国家都是受损者，没有一个是赢家。这是我想谈的第一个观点。第二个观点呢，就是中日韩的这个合作呢，具有重大和特殊的意义。那么世界经济重心在向亚太地区转移，亚太地区的重心在亚洲，亚洲的决定性力量和最大的变量取决于中日韩三国的竞合关系。那么到底是竞争大于合作，还是合作大于竞争？是竞争性合作还是对抗性博弈？那么这决定了中日韩三国的命运，也决定了亚洲的命运。因此呢，我们上午很多专家也谈到，领导也谈到下午各位专家也谈到。那么我们算了一下账就是亚洲在全球经济中的这份额呢，是人口占到全球的50%以上，经济总量呢占到全球的22%，贸易量占全球的20%以上，制造业产值占全球的40%以上。那么其中中日韩 GDP 总量占到全球21%，人口占到全球的21%，贸易占到全球的18%。这是整个亚洲和中日韩在世界上的比重。 那么再从中日韩在亚洲的比重来看，那么中日韩这3个国家呢，它的 GDP 在亚洲占2/3。我为什么说亚洲的命运呢？实际在某种程度上在于中日韩能否做出正确的选择，就是合作。因为你的 GDP 占了全球整个亚洲的2/3，占东亚的90%，中日韩贡献了亚洲经济增量的70%，和世界经济增量的40%，而贸易量占亚洲的70%。我想这个数字它是胜于雄辩的，这比我们说的这些很多的口号我觉得更有说服力。所以中日韩没有理由不合作，没有理由对抗，不管什么理由，我觉得对抗都是下策，合作是上策，密切的合作、紧密的合作、通力的合作是上策。所以我想第2个观点就是中日韩合作的这种特殊的意义和价值。那么第3个观点呢，就是我们在当前我们怎么来进行合作呢？我觉得我们怎么才能通过合作取得共赢或者多赢的效果呢？那么这一条呢，对于3国的领导人，对3国的政府，对3国的经济学家、战略家，都是挑战和考验，是考验我们是不是真正有亚洲智慧。那我觉得亚洲呢，是世界上文明最早的发源地，亚洲也是世界上经济学家、这个思想家、战略家最早的生发地。而且亚洲的文化呢，实际上是和为贵，和而不同。那么但是亚洲呢，没有把自己创造的文化、创造的这种智慧，在当代能发挥出来，能够变成3国的智慧的选择。我觉得像现在这种局面谁也不买谁的账然后呢，在半岛呢，这个风云突起总是在非常纠结和颠簸中前行。这就说明了我们没有真正的把我们的智慧用到整个亚洲的发展、亚太的发展、世界的发展，还有我们本国利益和合作利益的最大化上。这和我们亚洲的历史、亚洲的文化、亚洲的智慧，和我们中日韩3国的源远流长的这种历史是不相匹配的。我想我们今后的这种合作呢，我觉得我们不光是民间，包括政府，包括最高领导人，应该把我们中日韩的这种共同点、交汇点、利益的汇合点，把它放大到极致。我们要有中日韩3国之间的磋商机制、对话机制，也要有民间的这种对话机制。中日韩它的经济联系是不能隔断的。那实践证明。
Can you try to finish?
好的好的。
You may about yeah.
那我就再说1分钟就是我觉得中日韩的这个合作从贸易上来说呢，我认为呢可以从4个方面推进。第一呢，就是我们已经建的这种自贸区，比如说中韩自贸区，还要深化。第二呢，我们正在推动的中日韩自贸区要加快，那么形成制度性的框架。第三呢，中日韩现在应该全力推动 RCEP。当然呢 ，TPP 呢，原来呢12个国家已经形成了框架，但是呢，现在美国退出，我觉得不用纠结于美国退出，我觉得还是呢，我们要面向现在呢大家更容易接受的 进展更加顺利的 RCEP 全力推动。第四呢，在2014年 APEC 会议上形成了一个共同声明，就是共同推进这个亚太自贸区进程。我认为呢，在新的形势下呢，中日韩应该共同的加大推进亚太自贸区进程的力度。好，谢谢。
Thank you. Actually, she used 18 minutes. And during her remarks, I wanted to hear which area, three countries, we could collaborate. So she actually come up with 3 ideas. We need to make most of ongoing CJK talk. Second one is we need to try to finish RCEP at the earliest possible time. And third one is on the basis of APEC Beijing declarations, try to make the vision out of free trade area Asia Pacific. I think that recommendation is going to make a natural linkage to our final panelist. So I will give floor to Shiro Armstrong from Australia.
Thank you very much, Chair. And let me start by thanking the Trilateral Cooperation Secretariat, our hosts, for inviting me. And I'm very honored to be able to share this stage with such distinguished speakers and be part of this important forum. So let me start with the global context. I think that's an important place to start. Economic recovery after global financial crisis has been slow, and quite starkly, trade growth has been even slower. So before the global financial crisis, trade growth was almost double the rate of economic growth globally. Now it's barely keeping up with global GDP growth. That has helped fuel protectionist sentiment globally, seen most spectacularly in the rise of Donald Trump in the United States, and huge uncertainty, and I'll come back to that. But also in Europe, where we have Brexit, and also Europe, which is going to be preoccupied with internal problems for a while. So the leadership we've had from the advanced North Atlantic economies, we cannot rely on anymore. So this is not business as usual. It's really a crisis that is slowly unfolding, and I think it's structural. The problems that led to the rise of Donald Trump in the United States, I think Hillary Clinton would have had to deal with these problems, and they take a long time to reverse. It has to do with all the institutions and structural problems in the United States, such as the education system, healthcare system, tax and transfer system. So what is Asia's response going to be? Before I get to Asia's response, let me talk about the United States situation. So the United States underwrote the global system, was a leader in the global economic system, but now is the major threat to that rules-based international trading system. First of all, the United States withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Now that was a blow for the TPP, of course, but more than that, the symbolism of what that represented is a very big worry. Now the TPP, we can try to proceed with a TPP -1, but I think it's a hubs and spokes model where we're missing the hub. It's going to be very difficult for Vietnam, Malaysia, and many others who relied on US market access to make those concessions to come on board. There are other worrying signs. The US Trade Representative Trade Policy Agenda for 2017 had a new approach to WTO dispute settlement. Basically said, we're happy to win, the United States is happy to win, but we'll disregard rulings against the United States. I think if the United States actually follows that through, we're in a lot of trouble. The campaign rhetoric for Donald Trump of putting a 45% tariff on all Chinese imports, or a 35% tariff on all Mexican imports, and to renegotiate or rip up NAFTA, was very worrying. But also, it's not uncommon in US presidential elections to hear such things, but what was more worrying was Trump had a base to do that from, and he named each act and section of the act that the president is able to use to bypass Congress to implement those tariffs. On top of that, as Madam Chen mentioned, there's a border adjustment as part of the destination-based cash flow tax reform. Now, this is not trade policy, but it might have significant impact on trade, in international trade, and the European Union trade lawyers are already lining up to challenge this in the WTO if it comes through, if it passes US Congress. So that would be a worrying sign, especially if we don't think the United States is going to abide by any ruling against it. If the United States does withdraw from the WTO, it's a long shot, but any of these scenarios would involve a big challenge against the United States. If the United States withdraws from the WTO, it automatically reverts to Smoot-Hawley tariffs of the Great Depression, and that should worry us a fair bit. The thinking in the Trump trade policy team, Navarro, Lighthouser, Ross, is fairly consistent, and it says that trade deficits cause job losses. It's a very mercantilist approach that thinks in terms of imports costing jobs. And this is extremely worrying for a global leader such as the United States to be thinking like this. So what is Asia's response going to be? What does it have to be? Asia is still the most dynamic part of the global economy, and actually it will be for some time. So I have very large China growing rapidly that will try to transition out of middle income to high income. I have India, Indonesia with very young, poor populations that are aspiring to middle income and more. And so we can bet that this is going to be the dynamic part of the global economy. There's a strong interest in maintaining an open external environment. A lot of our economies in the region have major reform programs. So Abenomics in Japan, Make in India in India, the supply side reforms in China, and the transition to a more service consumption-led economy in China. They are all very difficult reforms that are made even more difficult with a hostile external environment, with markets externally closing up. So it's important for Asia to take a stand and push back against closing external markets and push back against the threat to the WTO and the trading system. I don't need to remind too many of you here the importance of the WTO system, the rules-based system for trade in Asia, but importantly, beyond the economic linkages, it has very significant security implications in Asia. There's no way that the Japan-China economic relationship, the trading relationship, is the third largest in the world without the WTO. There's no bilateral agreement that is relevant between Japan and China. It is underpinned by confidence in China's accession to the WTO and abiding by those rules. And so those rules and the dispute resolution, are very important. The rare earth metal case, where the dispute between Japan and China, that was resolved in the WTO, and China accepted that ruling. So that is a strong ballast against retaliatory action by Japan or others. But it goes both ways. That is still underpinning the economic relationships in East Asia. So what's the response to the growing uncertainty from North Atlantic, the United States and Europe, and the risks? And what do the responses have to be to some of these trade war provocations? Well, for Asia to maintain our economics dominating our politics, and not the other way around for our relationships in Asia, I think there's a strong interest that we share in China, Japan, Korea, but beyond, in a collective response, and it has to be collective. So I think, as many speakers have mentioned today, the two obvious ones really, and actually the two only ones, are RCEP and the CJK Trilateral. RCEP provides a natural platform for Asian countries to project a pushback, to project its interests against the United States and Europe, and actually is now the only game in town internationally in the mega-regional space, the broad liberalization beyond narrow bilaterals. So with TPP and TTIP no longer relevant, RCEP has to be ambitious, has to set the pathway forward for the free trade area of the Asia-Pacific and hopefully beyond. Hopefully it can set the standards over time for the WTO. That may sound very ambitious, but I think we need leader-led ambition in this region, not just leadership from our trade ministers and our trade negotiators, but this has to be leadership level ambition and collective leadership. Importantly, what goes underemphasized in RCEP quite often is the cooperation agenda. I think that's very important. It's the ASEAN way, as we heard earlier this morning, of really constant meetings, dialogue, just as we're having today and just as CJK continues to have, where that experience sharing and capacity building in Asia is going to actually make a big difference beyond the initial cuts and initial commitments made in an RCEP deal. Also, just quickly, I think it's really important to recognize the opportunity in RCEP that provides cover for making progress where it's otherwise difficult. So I saw the TPP very largely as a Japan-US agreement with the rest of us, including Australia, as cover, political cover, to make it easier to do a big bilateral deal. Well, RCEP provides cover for Japan-China, Korea-Japan, India-China, these agreements to make progress. They're going to be too difficult to negotiate bilaterally, so there's an opportunity. And finally, the CJK Trilateral, I think this is a very, very important arrangement and process, emphasize process. The cooperation here is sustained despite the ups and downs in the political relationships. And when tensions rise, the dialogue in the CJK continues at the official level, ministerial level, and the Track 2 level. And I think that's extremely important. Progress in CJK will help RCEP, and ambitious commitments in CJK will help make much more ambitious commitments in an RCEP agreement. And really, we have 3 large economies and 3 large international traders. If there's progress here in CJK, that doesn't just have implications for Northeast Asia, as Ambassador Ogura said this morning, but has global implications. So I want to stop there and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're on time. One thing in common among those 4 panelists was they never failed to mention, elephant in the room, USA trade policy. If you're going to sum up US trade policy, I can sum up in 2 words. One is buy American, hire Americans, and don't manipulate your currency. So 2 words. And so, is there anything CJK, China, Japan, Korea, collectively together to cope with those new U.S. trade policy, which means they try to reduce trade deficit through various, incentive, disincentive, and also they want to make sure that these East Asian countries are making investment in those countries instead of, making most of global value chain. And third thing was 3 countries still maintain on monitoring list of currency manipulation. So I will invite 4 panelists and to share your ideas, any common and collective response to those new face of U.S. trade policy. Anyone want to go first? Professor Park? Yes.
I don't have any specific suggestion, but as you all know that the CJK summit meeting process has been suspended for quite some time. So if you want to show our collective leadership, I think it's eminent that, right now Korea has some internal political turmoil, but sooner or later it'll be settling down. Then I think we really hope that CJK summit meeting process should start. Then we can say something to the world. East Asian or Northeast Asian leaders are supporting more free trade, are supporting more multilateralism rather than bilateralism. So I think most important thing is to let the leaders meet together regularly. This is one of the most important things to happen, I think.
So, summit leadership. Anyone? Ms. Iwata, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to say two comments. One of them is the chairman has already posed one question. This is if we want to establish TPP -1, then there may be additional work needed. I agree. I mentioned the history of GATT. My memory is correct. International Trade Organization proposal or charter was initially made in the year 1947. And the US withdrawn, and afterwards remaining signatory countries embarked on the work to establish the provisional text. That's the GATT. That established in 1951. It took about a couple of years. And I find if Japan make proposal to stick to the TPP -1 and establish this, then it takes a couple of years, because it required to make some amendment of the existing TPP, agreements. So, but what is interesting for me is in January this year, US government released a document, letter, with respect to NAFTA renegotiation. In this document, the government says NAFTA should attain the comparable results to TPP with respect to digital trade, disciplines on state-owned enterprise, environment, and labor. That implies TPP is a more advanced free trade area agreement. So a high quality agreement. Therefore, I think TPP still serves a model template for the regional integration, including China, Japan, Korea, Trilateral, FTA, and RCEP, and FTA, AP. And if the quality of this trade agreement is very high and deep, then obtained benefit is much more larger. So I think, therefore, TPP still alive as a model.
Well, thank you, Ewha. I recall what he mentioned, resemblance to ITO and current situation, because I'm teaching to my students history of global trading mechanism. But some say history repeat, but some say history doesn't repeat. We'll see. Mr. Armstrong? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Just very quickly, I think the United States especially has been providing a tailwind in the global economy until now. That's turning into a headwind. And so what we do here in the region has to be ambitious, and I think meeting the trilateral leaders, the summit re-meeting again is an important start. But I think there have to be strong commitments and leadership. And I don't think any single country, and even China, as large as it is, cannot lead alone in this environment. So collective leadership, and whatever is done in Asia, in East Asia, has to be avoid being inward-looking and be open to eventual US membership when US wants to join again and be an active, proactive player. So I think it has to be an open arrangement that welcomes the United States in and others.
我再补充2句啊，就是我觉得在当前这个国际经济形势下，中日韩的合作尤其重要。中国呢现在的贸易占全球的14%，那么中日韩如果加起来呢，接近20%。那么经济总量呢，刚才我说了已经占到20%以上了。中国现在的这个经济增长呢，“十三五”期间呢是6.5%到7%。那么我们预算呢，到这个2020年呢，中国经济总量呢会达到90万亿人民币，也就是说超过差不多14-15万亿的美元。那么我想呢，中国的经济增长的动力不会减弱。我们和韩国研究过韩美的自贸区的，它因为经过12年谈判啊，韩美自贸区的这个谈判的文本，那么它的文本呢，实际上和 TPP 的文本是基本上一致的，也就是说我们说的更高标准的贸易规则。那中国现在呢，在中国分3批搞了11个自贸区试点。那么就是为了推进更高标准的贸易规则和投资规则在中国落地。 因此，我觉得中日韩的这个更高标准的贸易规则下的中日韩自贸区的谈判呢，有着坚实的基础。我认为在当前呢，推进中日韩自贸区谈判，密切三国之间的经济合作尤为重要。好，谢谢。
Well, it is quite interesting because Madam Chen mentioned very high-level CJK FTA, but too many audience and those outside of negotiations. Impression is one is leading obstacle of CJK FTA talk is Japan and Korea. They try to aim high level, but on the other hand, Chinese government they are quite reluctant in bringing up level of ambition. So basically, what you're saying is Chinese government the position is more flexible in terms of aiming the bar high in CJK talks.
Uh, 中国采取这个弹性的态度啊，我觉得有2个方面的考虑。第一呢，我们是这个发展中的大国，那么我们还要适应呢，和发展中国家打交道，和新兴市场经济体打交道，因此我们呢就是推进 RCEP。另一方面呢，我们要从一个经济大国迈向一个经济强国。要走向呢第一梯队的话呢，我们还要推进更高标准的贸易规则、投资规则，也包括我们的国家的治理的这个现代化。所以呢，我们这个从上海自贸区开始，第2批呢又在广东、福建、重庆等地方搞了第2批自贸区试点。那第3批呢是搞了7个省份的自贸区试点。那么你看呢，已经到现在已经11个了。我想这些自贸区呢，它不是为了试点，是为了复制，是为了推广，那么是为了使中国整个经济呢，能够和日本、韩国具有同等的高水平，适应更高标准的贸易规则。因此，中国推进中日韩自贸区呢，是瞄准了更高标准的贸易规则。好，谢谢。
Thank you. She keeps coming. I should stop soon. I will make sure I will abide by time. I have final question to panelists because we talk about opportunity for making collaborations and we have historic opportunity ahead of us. But CJK, their power is mainly coming from manufacturing. So will it be possible CJK countries are turning into this ongoing CJK talk or RCEP talk, where they can talk about more competition service sectors and talk about possible collaboration on environment and pollutions, and also how they can effectively cope with digital economy. So for so-called 3 very prominent new areas, how 3 countries can collaborate together. So very briefly, anyone who's interested in making comment? Mr. Ewha? Mr. Ewha, you want to pitch in? Yeah, go ahead, Madam Chair, please.
I already mentioned that the TPP is the most advanced free trade agreement, and with respect to this digital trade and environment and the labor, and I find this can serve as a model for promoting this regional integration in Asia, whether it's RCEP or Trilateral FTA and or FTA AP. And this is very important. And I believe the United States would come back to this model.
Time will tell, we'll see. Mr. Armstrong, finally.
Just very quickly on the environment issue, I think that's a natural complementarity between countries, and it's an easy place to cooperate where everyone wins very easily. And very quickly on the standards and the high standards in the TPP, yes, I think some areas were very high standard and innovative and new, but other areas I think the definition of high standard is not suitable to other countries. The strong intellectual property rights protections, the state-owned enterprise reform as written by USTR doesn't necessarily fit for our countries in East Asia. So I just caution on that high standard approach. Other parts are high standard.
Thank you very much. I think it's time to close. Because of time limitation, I couldn't digest several very high quality questions, but I may briefly tell you what kind of question was, even though we cannot respond to those questions. Some question was whether or not the TPP can be expanded by embracing China. That is one question you need to think about. And also there was question, the linkage between SADA deployment and Chinese retaliation. So what is going to future possible collaborations in East Asia because of this? So that said, we are having challenges as well as opportunities. And so with that observation in mind, I'd like to conclude session 2. Thank you for your participation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Choi, and all of the speakers for leading the insightful discussion. We will now immediately continue on to the third session without a break after quickly rearranging the stage. We would greatly appreciate if you could please remain seated for the last session. In the meanwhile, we thank you very much for your patience with us.